Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. RHOBH Teddi Mellencamp announces divorce after 13 years of marriage. RHOBH alum Teddi Mellencamp announced she is getting a divorce from her husband, Edwin Arroyav, after 13 years. The two were featured for 3 seasons on the hit Bravo reality series But What Went Wrong? Keep reading for more details. Teddi Mellencamp announces divorce after 13 years of marriage. Viewers met Teddi Mellencamp in Season 8 of RHOBH through Dorrit Kemsley. She had gone to Teddi's home for a child's event and the rest is history. Teddi became extremely close with Lisa Vanderpump until they had a falling out. She soon formed a sisterhood with Kyle Richards. That was often mocked by Dorrit, who joked about them going to couples counseling. During Teddi's 3-season run, she introduced her 2 children, Slate and Cruz, as well as her husband, Edwin Arroyav. They started dating after a one-night stand and found out they were expecting baby number 3 in Season 10. Unfortunately, that would be Teddi's last season on the show, but she would return for occasional appearances. She eventually moved on with RHOC star Tamra Judge, and the two started their own podcast, Two Teas in a Pod. They dish about everything and anything Real Housewives. Now that the OC is airing, Teddi's former RHOBH co-star, Erica Jane, has stepped in to co-host. Teddi even made an appearance on Season 18 of OC as the host of a Traders-esque game. The attention has been on Teddi's fellow Bravolebs, but now she has had to turn it back on herself. The accountability coach released a statement on her Instagram on Saturday, November 2nd, sharing heartbreaking news. It seems that this was all Teddi Mellencamp's decision. As soon as fans and followers found out, they had a lot to say. Don't like hearing this about anyone. No, was there any hints that they had issues in their marriage? I listened to Two Teas in a Pod, but I haven't heard anything at all unless I wasn't paying attention. This is sad news. Wow. Didn't see that coming either. Could have already happened. Though some did not care about Teddi Mellencamp, others were clearly heartbroken for her and her family. However, the RHOBH alum did share that the Bravo show had saved her marriage in the past. Before they went on, the two almost split, and at the point of divorce. The biggest issue was money, as he was the one in control of that, and this was completely new for her. More so, Teddi and Edwin were not even attempting to fix what was broken. Then, they started filming and were able to see what they had, and that helped immensely. Teddi also dealt with terrifying bouts of skin cancer, but had her family by her side. Now things have clearly changed and she is reevaluating her life on her own terms. Teddi Mellencamp Arroyav's divorce announcement stunned the Bravo universe. 13 years of marriage in the public eye is no small feat, and Teddi, the fitness coach and former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star, seemed a portrait of resilience. Yet, as fans quickly learned, there was more behind her sun-dappled Instagram selfies and motivational coaching clips than anyone realized. As the press statement broke, the words felt carefully chosen but, somehow, deeply personal. After 13 years, Edwin and I have made the difficult decision to separate, it read. We've shared countless memories, laughter, and dreams, but as we grew, we also grew apart. This was not a decision we came to lightly, but one we ultimately believe is best for both of us and our children. For fans, Teddi's marriage had felt like a steady anchor, even as drama swirled around her on RHOBH. Whether sparring with Dorrit over tardiness or facing Lisa Vanderpump's wrath, her relationship with Edwin seemed like a grounding force. The two had built a family, a home, and a business empire, balancing the pressures of a reality TV lifestyle with a genuine attempt at normalcy. Now this seismic shift had fans wondering, how did we miss this? Teddi, who built her brand on accountability and transparency, chose to release the news in the same straightforward style that characterized her approach to everything: life, fitness, and relationships. The announcement, however, hinted at the private turmoil beneath the polished surface. Friends close to the couple had begun to suspect trouble during the last season Teddi was on the show, especially when the camera caught brief but tense moments between the two. There were subtle disagreements on finances, differing views on parenting, and hints of other unspoken issues. Yet it wasn't just the friction in the relationship that had created the rift, it was also the tremendous pressure of public life. Over the years, Teddi had evolved from just John Mellencamp's daughter to a strong reality personality with a successful career. With that transformation, she began to realize that her path was diverging from Edwin's. Her fitness and accountability brand, All In, had initially started as a passion project, but it exploded into a multi-million-dollar venture. Long nights of strategizing, coaching clients, managing staff, and growing her social media presence meant less time for intimacy and connection at home. For Edwin, who ran his own security company, it was a stark contrast to their early days. There was a time when the two of them could end each evening with a movie, a bottle of wine, and long conversations about life and family dreams. Now those talks had dwindled into clipped check-ins, or not at all. In her statement, Teddi shared a glimpse into the heartache of walking away. There is no animosity, only love and respect. Edwin has been my biggest supporter, my rock, and an amazing father to our children. We simply grew into two different people. The words struck a chord with anyone who had been through a breakup where both people were still, in some way, on each other's side. And yet, this choice was about more than Teddi or Edwin. It was about their children, who were already learning about the complexities of love and family dynamics. Teddi sat down with People magazine for an exclusive interview shortly after the announcement, wearing minimal makeup and a simple outfit. This was not a glamorous Housewives confessional. It was real, raw, and visibly emotional. When I got married, I thought I had found my forever, she said, her voice cracking slightly. You never go into a marriage thinking it has an expiration date. But life isn't a fairy tale, and sometimes as much as you love someone, you have to let them go for both of you to grow. The questions were as inevitable as they were painful. Could they have done more? Had she made a mistake putting her career so far ahead? And yet for Teddi, these doubts were counterbalanced by a new clarity. Being all in for her clients had taught her to be all in for herself. Her decision wasn't made lightly, and she had spent countless sleepless nights thinking it through. There had been therapy sessions, attempts to reconnect, and plans to rekindle their romance, small gestures that felt as if they might stitch the two back together. But sometimes, as she explained to her interviewer, the kindest act is to release what no longer fits. And even though she was no longer on RHOBH, the reality TV world still had opinions. Social media exploded with speculation and commentary. Some fans rallied around her, offering messages of support and admiration. Others, inevitably, hinted at the curse of Housewives' marriages, pointing out the show's long trail of divorces and heartache. Yet through the chatter, Teddi seemed to stay grounded. At a certain point in the interview, Teddi looked down at her hands, collecting her thoughts before continuing. For my kids, I want them to know that their parents love them unconditionally, even if we're not together in the same way. This was a decision made from love, not bitterness. Reflecting on her journey, Teddi acknowledged that the fame, while a privilege, also took a toll on her relationships. RHOBH was notorious for exposing cracks, amplifying stress, and pushing cast members to their breaking points. She'd seen friendships tested, loyalties questioned, and marriages crumble under the pressure of the Bravo spotlight. And yet, as the whirlwind of RHOBH came to a halt, Teddi hoped her post-divorce life would mark a fresh chapter, one grounded in her truest priorities. Looking forward, she expressed a quiet optimism. Teddi's future was no longer about fitting into a public persona or catering to expectations. Now she was ready to embrace the next phase of her life, solo. She still planned to devote herself to All In, but there was a new goal: personal peace and growth. For Teddi, it wasn't about getting back to herself, but about discovering who she was outside of the labels of wife, housewife, or coach. As the dust settled, Teddi knew that there would be adjustments, loneliness, and difficult days ahead. But for the first time in years, she felt a lightness that she hadn't known was missing. Letting go of her marriage wasn't a defeat. It was a bold step into the unknown, and this, she believed, would ultimately be her greatest act of accountability.